What's up guys, Ben Milliken here for Mystery Tackle Box. You know, even though it's super cold outside and everyone's sitting at home on their couch watching TV, watching football, whatever, there's still a ton of fish to be caught out on your lake if you got some open water. So in today's video, I'm going to take my MTB Pro Box out on the water and show you guys how you can catch some fish right now. All right guys, just got to the first spot. Super stoked about it. Found a nice bank with some wind blowing into it, got some rock transitions, some bluffs, stuff like that. If you are from the Ozarks, then you know why I'm so excited right now, because it's about to go down. Let me show you what I got in my Mystery Tackle Box Pro Box though. I was super stoked because I got a bunch of baits that I throw a lot of times, and just different baits that are perfect for these scenarios. First thing we got, the Randy's Swimming Runners, a little bit of underspin bait. Next bait I got tied on, Lucky Craft Pointer 95 jerkbait, wind blowing in, bluffy stuff. It's gonna be money. Next bait in my box, the 6 cents flat 75 crankbait. Anytime we start to get a little bit shallower, this guy is gonna be absolutely money. I throw this bait a ton, cold water, it's a money bait. Then we got the net bait T-Mac worm, which is a 7-inch finesse worm. I rigged it up on a shaky head. To me, that'll be just absolutely perfect for some of these rock transitions, stuff like that. We can go back, soak up our areas we go through with those moving reaction baits first. Got the Catch Coat Gator Hog right here. Nice, sexy little creature bait. Got him rigged up on the Carl's Stash Carolina rig kit. Gonna cast this guy out. The old ball and chain, drag him around a little bit, so it'll be an awesome way to cover those bottom contact, the deeper areas, so I'm super stoked about that. And then one more bait right here. Got the net bait Mad Packa. So once again, a bigger creature bait. This one's in a June bug color, so this one's gonna be better when we get back in some muddier water. But yeah, we'll definitely be getting him to work too. But I'm super jacked. I don't want to talk to you guys anymore. Let's get behind the camera, start making some casts, hopefully catch some slotches. All right, dudes, we got this wind blowing on this bank right here. We got this nice area where the bluff kind of transitions out. Be a nice place for one to sit up right on that corner. Right as it starts to get a little bit shallow, you can see it goes back into this little cut where it shallows up a whole bunch. So I'm gonna start with this Lucky Craft Pointer 95 jerkbait. I like this one because this time of year in the fall, a lot of the bait is still small, and the Pointer 95 is definitely a smaller profile, obviously, than those 110, 105 style baits. Really what I'm trying to do here is throw this bait right up onto those rocks, right where that bluff's gonna come to an end. And you're gonna have to visualize underwater. The jerkbait's a super visual bait. So I'm gonna reel it down a couple times, and then I'm gonna just twitch the slack in my line. A couple times, let it sit for 5 or 6 seconds, and then just kind of do it again. We're gonna do that all the way back to the boat, let it suspend there, sit there in that fish's face. Great cold water bait. Jerkbait catches a ton of fish for me, especially when the water's clean. Today, the little bit of wind should help it a bunch as well. Now, this bank is not as deep as I thought it was, and with this wind blowing across it like this, I think it might be perfect for this flat side crankbait. So I'm gonna get the trolling motor kicked up a little bit higher speed and kind of just cover water with this thing. Paralleling the bank with this is absolutely the way to go. You wanna keep your boat really tight to the bank. Make those casts parallel to the bank, not very far out, so that bait's making contact with the bottom the entire way through the cast. There we go. There's one on the flat side. Oh, decent one too. Don't you come off. All right, definitely not a big one, but another 2-pounder or so on the flat 75 6 cents crankbait. Nice little tournament keeper right there. Absolutely. Get him back in the water. I was just paralleling this rock right here. Of course, perfect place. Kind of a nice steeper chunk rock. You know, it's 7 feet deep right here, so I can kind of throw at an angle towards the bank and work it down off those steeper ledges. Absolutely a money bait to throw right now. Water is in the high 40s, which is the perfect time to throw this flat side. Well, to be honest, the bite's been pretty tough so far, so I think I'm gonna go to some of these bottom contact baits, the more natural baits. Start with this shaky head. It's that T-Mac, that 7-inch worm on a 1/4-ounce shaky head. You know, I throw it on bait casting gear. A lot of guys like throw it on spinning gear, but I get pretty good feel with it on bait casting gear. I'm throwing this right now on a 7-foot medium power rod, 10-pound fluorocarbon with a 7-to-1 gear ratio reel. Really important to pick up that slack. And of course, I'm throwing on fluorocarbon lines, so I get really good transmission with it down there on the bottom. And it's called a shaky head, but I just kind of work it by dragging it along. Just drag it off the ledges. Anytime you get up close to any type of hard cover, a stick, a laydown, anything like that, I will just shake it and work its way over that. But you want to keep this bait maintaining bottom contact throughout your entire cast, and you're really going to get a lot of bites on this thing, even if they aren't the biggest in the lake. There's one. Just feels like a little guy. That's funny. He might have grabbed it actually on the fall. Oh yeah. Just a little dude, but feels good to get out and catch some fish when it's super, super cold outside. Got him on the old shaky head with the T-Max, so now we've caught one on that. Great, great bait. Get him back in the water. Bye, buddy. Yeah, I was just kind of casting this out, kind of 45-degree angle to the bank right here, and I cast it out, and it never really did get a good feel of the bottom. It was kind of felt mushy the entire time, and I think that would be exactly why, because that little dude probably caught it on the fall, which is a good reminder to always watch your line when you're throwing any type of bottom contact bait. Even though you're waiting for it to get down to the bottom and drag it around, fish really, really like to pick that up on the fall. Even a shaky head like this, which doesn't look like much on the fall, probably hit him right in the face, and we were rewarded with that little dude. But let's go catch some on something else now. I'm gonna throw that Carolina rig around. I think if this was working, might be able to fish out a little bit deeper off that ledge rock and catch one on the Carolina rig. So this right here to me is a really good time to pick up the old Carolina rig. And what I mean by that is you have a nice tapering bank right here, turns into more of a bluffy bank. And I did a little bit of side scanning. You could see there was some deep, chunky rock out deeper. And so what I'm gonna do with this guy is I'm gonna make a long cast, kind of 45-degree angle to the bank, almost up to the bank right there. I'm gonna let it sink down to the bottom. And to me, this is the best way to fish a Carolina rig, is to let it get down to the bottom, and all you're gonna do is drag it sideways. Now, you're just gonna drag it, kind of feel around down there, but you can't fish a Carolina rig too slow. Fishing this thing, you know, this is a supernatural rig. Your bait's sitting down there kind of waving around on that lighter line, which does bring me to my rigging method. I always like to have a little bit lighter leader line on there. That way, if you get snagged, which you are going to do with the Carolina rig, if you're throwing in the right area, you're only losing your bait and your leader there. You're not losing your whole weight, bead, swivel, everything else. The tackle I like to throw this on is a 7.3 to 7'6" heavy power rod. I like a nice stiff rod for this, something that's nice and sensitive so you can feel what your weight's doing down there the entire time. And then I really, really like a fast gear ratio reel, 7-to-1 gear ratio reel. I usually throw 17 or 20-pound fluorocarbon on my main line, and then 12-pound fluorocarbon for my leader line. And I just kind of drag it around. There's really not a whole lot to it. Find some good deep offshore structure, drag this guy around, you are going to catch some fish. Oh, there's a bite right there on the Carolina rig. Watch this hook set, guys. Reel up, feel the weight of them, and then you always hit them with the side sweep. Really important to set the hook. This one feels a little bit better. Not a giant one, but definitely decent fish. Get in here, brah. Boom. See how that's hooked? Right in the roof of the mouth, and it just fell out. Perfect with the old Catchco Gator Hog on the Carolina rig. I saw this boat ramp over here. Boat ramps, any type of chunky rock, something different, a rock transition, as I was saying earlier. Great place to throw a Carolina rig. Throw that guy out there, drag it around. I was just dragging him. He ticked it. Your typical little tick bite. Get him back in the water. There he goes. And that's all you do, guys. You just reel up that slack. I like to reel it, kind of point my rod tip at them, make sure you feel the weight of the fish. Since it is such a natural bait and they're not feeling the weight of your big weight down there because it's free flowing, that line goes right through there, they're not gonna feel you quite as quick. So you can let them take it a little bit longer and then hit them with the sideways sweep. For whatever reason with the Carolina rig, you always want to hit them with the sideways sweep. If you do an over the head hook set, just like a jig or something like that, you lose a ton of fish. I think it's because you're kind of setting the hook into the weight that way, and there's a big bow in your line instead of just reeling up and driving that hook straight through the side of them. But pretty stoked. Got fish on 2 of the baits now. Let's go see if we can get one on something else. All right, so we just got out to a main lake bluffy point type cover. right here at the mouth of this cove. And this is my favorite spot to throw something like this underspin right here. There's two different ways I like to fish it. You know, the first way I like to fish it is you just cast it out next to docks like this, pull underneath the floats and fish for suspending bass. This bait right here to me is great whenever the fish are suspending or chasing shad, which especially is true around these docks. The fish really like to suspend when it's colder. So I'm gonna throw this around the points of the docks into those dock bays. And then the second way I like to throw this bait is to parallel these bluffs. You know, fish are always on bluffs all season long. So I'll make a cast parallel to the bluff and just kind of let that bait tick, 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 work its way down those bluff ends until I figure out what depth the fish are holding at. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. You know, we didn't smoke them today by any means, but we caught some fish. We got out these super tough cold conditions and we caught a couple. Even though they weren't big ones, it was super fun to be out on the water. Hopefully the tips I share with you guys will help you catch some more bass with those baits in your mystery tackle box this January. But I gotta get out of here, guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video today. Peace.